And welcome along, Louise. Thank you for joining us today. And let me be the first to congratulate you on being one of our master bookkeepers. There are not too many master bookkeepers at this level at this point, and so it is indeed quite an achievement. Do you want to start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and your business and your ICNZB membership?
Yeah, well, really lovely to catch up, Irene. I am a proud Kiwi living what they call the Kiwi dream. I've got an amazing partner, Scott, who's in business with me. And first and foremost, obviously, our focus is our family. So we've got twin girls and 3 amazing stepsons. So that's me, really, mother, partner, life lover. Red Office is really something that we've been able to build together to help us achieve our family's goals. So I've had a really varied background. I started out in my student days working in cafes and bars and for private investigators, doing insurance sales, milking sheds, house cleaning, you name it, I sort of did it. And then head overseas after a management degree at Albany, and head overseas on my OE and started out in Africa for 2 years running African safaris. Had an amazing time there. It's amazing how that 2-year stint running trips in Africa has had such a big impact on my life. Taught me so much about people and the important things in life. So I loved that. And then head to London and my first interview was with a recruitment agency. So I walked in and they gave me a job running reception for them. And I loved it. I worked hard, I played hard, I loved my time in London. And finished up 8 years later running their London branches, and then thought, I'm 32, I can't really say I'm travelling anymore, I better make a decision. So I came home to New Zealand, and my sister actually set up Red Office, and she was pregnant with my nephew, and she sort of said, help, can you take a year out and help me in the business? Just to get me through. And so that's actually where my love of bookkeeping came from, joining her in the Red Office. I've been a member with ICB, I think, since about 2014. It's what the records are telling me, apparently. Cool. Feels like, yeah, it's crazy, actually. That's it's been an awesome journey. And throughout that time, I've helped mainly in the Auckland region, being the Auckland coordinator for a long time, just stepped down from that this year. But yeah, super proud to have been part of an organisation that's helping show that we are a profession.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And so you've become one of our master bookkeepers. What does being a master bookkeeper mean to you?
So I had a really good think about that because it's a really interesting one. So it's a given that a master bookkeeper needs to have the account skills. You should be able to provide a full set of monthly management accounts through to balance sheet reconciliation for a reasonable sized business in my mind. So you should be able to do all your foreign currency, intercompany loans, you name it, you should be able to do that. That's a given. That's basically a senior bookkeeper rather than a master bookkeeper. And I think probably a master bookkeeper is an interesting one, but it's more the soft skills that come with that. So you've been in the industry for a while, you've worked for multiple businesses, you understand potentially about different, the sense behind the numbers for those businesses. You've got the soft skills around communication, face-to-face, online, with accountants, with the lawyers, with the CFOs, whoever that might be. You have the ability to build rapport and trust with your clients and really give them confidence that you are owning your role within their business to ensure that they've got accurate accounts that can drive their business decisions. And so for me, a master bookkeeper goes past the numbers. It's having that experience across those other areas to support our clients.
Awesome. I love hearing you describe it like that. That was pretty cool. So you've shared how you kind of joined your sister in Red Office to help out. Is there anything else around your journey into bookkeeping that's worthwhile noting?
I guess the funny thing for me is that I've never really chosen a job anywhere. Literally every job I've ever had, including, Red Office, somebody else just said to me, can you come and help out and do something? Or I've just it's just fallen, it's just come in front of me and I've taken it up. And I am a worker. I like working. I get a lot of fulfillment from working. And I guess when I joined my sister, I wasn't from a numbers background. I was from a team building, recruitment, sales background. And she was from, she was a consultant, MYB consultant back in the day, setting up systems, training, people how to do it. And in fairness, I just sort of fell in love with it. And so with that, she just asked me to help cover her for the lower level work she was doing until she came back. And when I started working with her, I said, hey, there's a huge opportunity here, like there's all this training work coming in, I can't do it. So let me go and find someone to do it for you. And so I asked her to give me some names and we put the feelers out, and the guy that she'd worked with at MYB, actually called AJ, a lovely Canadian guy, he was just amazing. He came on board. He said, I can probably commit 6 months. And then he was with us for 5 years. And so that was probably the tipping point for me, where I was like, she went on maternity leave. I had AJ and myself working, contracting, and I was booking jobs, talking to clients, solving problems that they had. And between him and AJ and me, we could do that, Isabel returned. We started building the contracting team. And then the recession hit, and it was pretty tough. And my sister was pregnant for a second time, and she said, I'm out. This is a lot of stress, So that's when I took over Red Office. And I think probably over the last 16 years, it's been a really awesome journey. And the main thing I love about it is the different businesses that we get to work with and all the different business owners. So, this morning I had a client call me. He's put his back out. We've got a meeting with their advisors tomorrow. We've got to get cash flow planned. He was like, do you mind having to catch up now? He needed me to make sure tomorrow is sorted out, sort of thing. And I love that opportunity to work with so many different people and be able to help them really get ahead in their businesses.
Such an important difference.
Yeah, it is. So we just sort of gone from there and been building the team just steadily. It's actually a lot harder running your own business than being a manager for someone else's business. I used to be a lot tougher when I worked in London. You definitely take it a lot more personally, and you probably you're slower to make decisions. I think I feel I'm slower to make decisions. That's something I'm trying to hold myself accountable to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just love the fact that we get to work with so many different types of businesses. It's an awesome career, and we've got a lot of options. It's not just numbers, it's technology, it's people. No day is ever the same.
No. Anyone who thinks data bookkeeping is just data processing has no idea.
No idea. No, exactly. So yeah.
So what's some of the best outcomes that you've achieved for your clients during your time working with them as a master bookkeeper?
Ooh, good question. So I think it's really important when we are working with clients to always put their needs at the top of our list. I think for me, we've built our business around a customer service. So we do look at each client individually. That can create some challenges, but I've always tried to make sure that they understand that we are there for the period that they need it. So we've had some awesome times where we've had clients for maybe, 8-10 years, and then they've been able to sell their business for probably, our set of tidy accounts that's behind it for 8 years, proving the margins, proving everything the whole way through, has meant that when the brokers are looking at their business, they've actually been 100% comfortable with the numbers. There's been no queries. And so I've had that phone call from the client saying, you know, it's a bottle of champagne on its way to you. Thank you so much. And sorry to be finishing up with you because I've sold. But, you know, really excited for them to see that they're moving on to their next journey. We've had some, you know, so many things over the years. We've had some clients that have come to us in a real pickle, you know. We've got one at the moment and, you know, we've tidied up 4 years worth of books. It's probably not my favourite task, tidying up 4 years worth of books. But having said that, we have, you know, it's just going to make such a big difference to that client's stress levels. And he's a convert, you know. He's
he won't go back.
He won't go back. So, yeah, I think probably that's important to me. I mean, we had a few years ago, we've had a journey with a current client that's been really interesting. They've probably been a client for maybe, I'd have to double check it, maybe 5 years. But their business has grown huge, you know, been growing astronomically over that time. And when we started with them, they had their books were a bit of a mess and we needed to do a bit of a tidy up. They'd had a student do some repair work on it. So we tidied it all up, got things working, and they had an American system that doesn't integrate with Xero. So it was just relentless volumes of this data entry. And in the end, I said to them, I introduced them to an app partner, and he wrote a little piece of software for them. I think it's $5,000. And overnight, that saved $2,500 a month on our fees for that client. And I remember the team at the time said to me, do we want to save $2,500 on our fees? And I said, we don't enjoy that work anyway. And, you know, they don't see any value in it, really. So let's do it. And so that fee ended up, as they grew and grew and grew, we ended up having a team of 3 running their accounts.
Wow.
Because they got so big. Then they ended up taking internally a finance manager, and they gave that opportunity to one of our staff. So she had the opportunity to go and be promoted. Yes, I lost an amazing staff member, but that's all part of our contract terms. And we now report to her. So we have retained 25% of the role. We now report to her. And that client is still growing, and I'm sure at some point things will change again in the future. But I guess that's what I find exciting in the industry, is that we are there for a moment with a client. You know, we've got some charities maybe that like as well, where they've had a voluntary treasurer in place, and things haven't gone smoothly, and then they've come across to us and they've been on our books for 10 years and things just, you know, they can get all their funding and their grants because they've got accurate books. So those are the bits that I find really, you know, I enjoy. And it's the relationship part of the business, I think that's the important key part.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously while you've been in the industry, there's been some changes, but what would you say your vision of the future of bookkeeping is in 5 years' time?
It's super exciting, basically. There is so much potential for everybody. Now, I'm probably talking at it from a perspective of someone building a business, so not someone that's wanting 25 hours a week, obviously work for myself, which is absolutely a great option for people as well. But for me, I'm building a business. So there's so much opportunity. I think the vision is that it is actually becoming known that there is a profession, which probably 16 years ago, when I started talking to accountants about what we did, they were like, really? You know, nobody really got it. And the reality is, for a lot of business owners now, they don't want to recruit, train, manage that sole charge role. And then there's so much risk for them when that person gets COVID, when that person resigns, when that person's, you know, staff member, family member needs them, all that kind of thing. So the sole charge role has got a huge amount of pressure on it. And we're seeing with the machine learning and artificial intelligence that 30 to 40 hour a week full-time role, a lot of the time is 15 to 20 hours a week. So for the same cost, or less sometimes, those businesses can take all the management responsibility, all the hardware, IT, systems, training, holidays, insurance, all of those things out of the mix, and just have a service delivery done by a team.
Just gets taken care of like magic.
just gets taken care of. And they're starting to understand that. And so there's more and more roles coming through. So where 5 years ago, we used to have a lot of roles that were 2, 3, 4 hours a week. Now we've got roles that are 5 to 10, 15 hours a week, which is great. You know, it's really, really awesome for our business. So I think the future of bookkeeping is that massive, massive, massive potential. Definitely need to make sure that we are finger on the pulse, watching what's happening with the technology, because there's going to be a lot of change there. And I think the key ingredient for us all is that we need to make sure we are not hiring just numbers people. We need to be hiring the people with the soft skills and then training them in the numbers. Because in 5, 10 years' time, the job is going to be a communication role. The machines are going to be doing a lot of the entry work, and it's going to be we're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, overseeing it, and helping the business owners understand what the accounts are saying, really. So that would be me. 5 years. We need to be hiring soft skills minded people, and go forward and conquer.
Awesome. So Louise, final question for you. It's absolutely obvious you have the bookkeeping superpower, amongst a few others, I'd say. Definitely throw business and all those sorts of things in there as well. But if you could have one other superpower, what would it be and why?
I would have to say I would love to be a clairvoyant that could tap into my clients' minds and get some sort of alarm trigger going to me so I could plan for when they're going to have their ad hoc needs. I think that's the biggest thing that impacts our business, is all those non-planned emergency requirements that happen. And as much as we can try and, jiggle things around and set expectations, etc., if we could get a bit more understanding that was coming our way, that's what we're always constantly saying to our team. Make sure you're looking at things, and if there's anything that you can read between the lines, let us know as you go. So I think a clairvoyant with my clients' minds would be my one.
All right, that's a good one. That certainly would be handy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Louise. I really appreciate your time and the opportunity to chat and learn a little bit more about you and your bookkeeping journey.
Fantastic. It's been great to catch up. Thanks, Irene.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.